The last movie that was featured here was you in the Мэриголд Hotel. And you've been there with like the top people in the industry, like Judy Dench and Tom Wilkinson. How'd you like the experience of working with them?
That was a wonderful movie for me. I was just touring with the movie. It's amazing to work with, such cinematic greats. Is a real honor.
Like your character has a line, it's not all that bad. If it's not all that bad, it's not the end.
Yeah.
Do you keep that, do you stick to that yourself?
I kind of, in a way. I mean, it's a nice quote. You've seen the movie, I'm guessing, right? Everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, then it's not yet the end. That's the quote. It's a really nice quote. He uses it as an excuse in the movie. Because the hotel they come to is not finished, so he's trying to keep his guests calm, basically.
What's your point on the M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender? Because it wasn't really a successful one.
Yeah. It wasn't really that good, to be honest. I worked on it because of the prospect of being able to work with all these amazing people in cinema. M. Night Shyamalan, the producer was Frank Marshall, who did lots of Spielberg's movies. And growing up, I was really interested in my favorite movies were movies like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and it's lots of CGI and things like that involved. So when I got the opportunity to be involved with a movie like that, I jumped on it. However, I quickly learned when you're part of a movie that big, I think the budget was 150 million, you're very small in the process of this big machine. So, it made me realize that, I prefer doing smaller movies. And, it's about learning. But yeah, I apologize to all the people that are let down by it. I definitely thought it could have been better too.
Вот вы смотрели оригинальный фильм «Аватар», по которому был снят сам фильм «Повелитель»?
Did you watch the original cartoon? The
Yes, I was a big fan. That's another reason why I did it, and that's why it's even more bad that it was so crap. No, the cartoon's great, and I studied in martial arts for 8 years when I was a kid. So to have this cartoon where all the characters were fighting and things like that was really cool. Yeah.
На фильме «Миллионер из трущоб» работали два режиссера, Дэнни Бойл и Лавин Тандан, но все в основном вспоминают Дэнни Бойла. Кто из них больше работал над картиной, по вашему мнению?
We all know that there was two film directors working on the Slumdog Millionaire, Danny Boyle and Levine.
Tandan.
Yeah. What's your personal opinion? Who brought a lot to the movie?
He's very intellectual. He's done his research.
Because they all say that they always mention Danny Boyle.
Yeah, I mean it's a Danny Boyle movie. Without Danny Boyle, there would be no Slumdog. The money was got from him. To make the movie. Loveleen also is indispensable. She was a casting director in India, and she the kids in the movie, the small kids, can't speak English. So without Loveleen, it would have been hard to get a performance out of them. So I think both equally they were incredibly important to the movie. Danny Boyle was the captain of the ship, and she was almost his right hand, attendant or whatever they call him.
Если вы участвовали в шоу «Кто возьмет миллион», на каком вопросе вы остановились?
If you personally would be a part of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show, which question would you stop on and take the money?
I'm not clever at all. I dropped out of school when I was 16, so it would probably be the second question. I wouldn't get too far at all. I'd have to use all my lifelines by question 2.
Расскажите о своем следующем проекте, где вы снимаетесь с актером Джеймсом Франко.
Could you tell us what's your next project where you shoot with James Franco?
It's a movie called Cherry. I don't know when it's coming out, so I can't tell you too much about it. James Franco's in it a little. I'm in it a little. It's not really the main character is this actress called Ashley Hinshaw, and it's an interesting short story set in America about the porn industry.
Вы начинали свою карьеру как телевизионный актер в сериале «Skins». Вы планируете вернуться на телевидение?
You started your career as a TV actor, featuring in Skins. Do you plan to coming back to TV?
I am. I'm doing TV right now in America for a show called HBO. There's a writer, a very famous guy in Hollywood called Aaron Sorkin, who did Social Network, who just won the Oscar. He wrote like A Few Good Men, you know, some really good stuff. I'm doing his new TV show right now. TV's fun. It's a lot different than movie making, you know. There's a kind of stricter regime. I feel like I'm going to school almost, you know.
У вас не такая большая фильмография, но при этом уже успели поработать с Дэнни Бойлом, с Шьямаланом. С кем из режиссеров вам еще хотелось бы поработать в будущем?
You don't have that great of a filmography, but you've already worked with Danny Boyle and M. Night Shyamalan. Which ones of other film directors would you like to work with in future?
I also worked with in Мэриголд a director called John Madden, who did Shakespeare in Love. He's a really good director. Some directors I'd love to work with. There's this director called Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. I think he's a really good filmmaker. Very gritty and raw. You know, it's like earthy filmmaking. It's very character, emotion driven, simple storytelling. He's a really good filmmaker. I'm also a big fan of who else am I a big fan of? Tarsem Singh's really good on the visualist side. And then obviously there's so many, the usual Scorsese's and Spielberg's, you know. Danny Boyle, again, I'd love to work with him too.
Вопрос, как вы относитесь к тому, что многие думают, что вы родились в Индии?
How do you find the fact, well, that most people think that she was actually born in India?
Who, me?
Yeah,
it's
good.
Lots
of people think.
I think that's at the start when I went to Hollywood to do meetings for the movie, I was upset that no one knew where I was from, and then I quickly realized that, you know, it's actually a compliment that they believed that I was this kid from India, because it took a lot of work to pull off the accent and everything for the first time. Now I'm a lot better at it because I've done another movie in it. But it's a compliment. It's a nice thing.
Последний вопрос. Что вы пожелали участникам фестиваля «Звезды Шакена»?
And the last one, what could you wish to the participants of Shaken Stars Film Festival?
I wish them the best of luck. You know, it's really nice to see emerging talent all around the world, and you know, I can see, you know, they're making some good movies, and you know, I met a few actors, you know, at the start of the film festival that were very nice, and you know, I look forward to hopefully seeing some movies from Kazakhstan in the foreign language, you know, categories of the Oscars one day. Thank you. How you doing, man? It's a mean camera.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Good luck.
much. You too.
Спасибо большое.